Hi YouTube people. I wanted to post a quick video for anybody that's on the fence about buying a BikesDirect bike. I'm not part of BikesDirect. I'm not a huge cyclist. And you're probably wondering why I'm showing you a Schwinn Paramount. It's a 1992 Schwinn. This is my bike I've had for many years. Very nice bike. It's not a Waterford Schwinn, heaven forbid, but I'll tell you what, it's a Japanese quality made bicycle, and it's lightweight for chromoly, and it's just a real comfortable ride. There's things that I would like differently, are the new modern shifters, of course. The shifters that are up on the grips would be really nice. And you know, the fact that I've had it for umpteen years is just the reason that I wanted to upgrade. So I'm looking at bikes at the bike store, and lots of nice bikes, but BikesDirect caught my eye. It was hundreds of dollars cheaper than anything you can get at the bike store, which isn't on sale. But then you're wondering, you know, how bad is the frame? How are the welds? Let me get the Gravity that I bought. This is the Gravity Pro I bought. It has Ultegra rear derailleur, front derailleur, FSA, external bearing, I think it's called external bearing crankset. The Valletta wheels, I looked those up. You know, all these cheaper bikes, or not cheap, this is a $1,000 bike, but for me it's expensive. But they'll usually chintz on the wheels, and those are $100, $130 wheels. And they'll put cheaper brakes on, typically, I've noticed. But the components are all top-notch. I mean, you can't touch an Ultegra bike for under a couple $1,000 at a bike store. So when I got the bike, they delivered it fast. It came within a matter of days, which was great. When I got it, though, and unpacked it, some of the packing wasn't around the rear stay, the left rear stay, and there was a big gouge, probably 2.5 inches long, down to the primer. And I called them, and I considered sending it back. I mean, this is the first bike I bought in 20 years, you know, a new bike, and to have a big gouge out of it right away on a $1,000 bike, it's kind of a big deal, at least to me anyway. So we ended up negotiating a little bit. I asked for $100, they gave me $50. Maybe that's enough, maybe it's not enough. I guess that's a personal choice of yours if you had to make that decision. So aside from that, we agreed on the $50. I kept the bike. The first thing I had to do is I did have to adjust both the front and rear derailleur. It was in pretty good shape, you know, not too far out, but you need to know how to adjust derailleurs. Secondly, the wheels, the rear wheel needed to be trued. It wobbled a fair amount. It wasn't horrible, but a fair amount. So I had to do some truing on the rear wheels. Other than that, when I looked over the paint and the welds were really nice on this bike. It was better than I expected, honestly. I was kind of afraid what I was going to see. There's no good pictures of welds on the website, so you're wondering, really, what are you going to get? But the welds look really good. What I would say is probably the paint is one of the places they skimp. I think it's, you know, thinner, not as durable. I set this bike against a metal object, my bad, right, on the top bar. I mean, ever so gently, and it still nicked it slightly. As far as the rear stay in the back, I put some filler in there, primed it, and just touched it up with a touch-up bottle, and it pretty much went away. I mean, it's not a flashy bike, which I like. You know, it doesn't say Trek on it or Specialized, and make it, you know, as far as anybody knows, this thing came from Target, right? As far as the ride goes, really nice ride. It's aluminum frame with carbon fork, and you know, I was on the fence about whether I should get a full-blown carbon frame bike because, you know, they'll say aluminum will beat you to death and all this, and I don't find that true at all. In fact, well, let me tell you, mostly the trails I ride are pretty nice bike trails, asphalt bike trails with not a lot of expansion cracks or anything like that. And when you're riding on those, absolutely, I wouldn't waste the money on the $300-400 upgrade. Now around the street, it might help a little bit, but you know, honestly, I don't think I would have done it different. It's not nearly as bad as, you know, the bike shop guys would make you think. So as far as lightweight, it's just, this is a fast bike, and I really like that about it. What else can I tell you about it? The Ultegra parts are really nice. I'm not sure what the difference is between 105 and Ultegra. I think it may be just weight, and if that's the case, and you can get into a carbon fiber with 105, maybe you do that. One other thing I'll say is, after I purchased this bike, I was looking on some websites for other no-name bikes, so to speak, and REI had a really nice Trenta. I think it's called a Trenta bike. And that one, you could tell the paint was much nicer on it. It had full Ultegra. The wheels had more aerodynamic wheels and more expensive aerodynamic wheels. That bike was more money though. It was on clearance for $12.79. Had I seen it before I bought this, I may have spent the extra money. Now, the reason to go to the bike store is you don't do much with bikes. I mean, if you don't, you may want to go to the bike store. On the other hand, if you bought this bike and you're not a bike person, you could certainly take it in and have your bike guys adjust the derailleurs and true the wheels up. I think to adjust derailleurs probably cost $20. True the wheels maybe $30. That's a guess though. I'm not sure about the wheel true. But they're certainly not bad enough to take a long time for anybody that really knows what they're doing. I was able to fumble my way through it. So, otherwise, yeah, this is a very nice bike. And is it an upgrade for my Paramount? I'd say it probably is. It's a pretty good upgrade. It feels lighter, quicker, snappier. I'm kind of keeping my Paramount and for the streets around the house. You know, kind of a beater bike, if you will. I took the pedals off my Paramount. That's what these are. I think they're some kind of Shimano, but they've got really nice bearings in them. I've just put some old regular pedals on the Paramount for now. But all in all, yeah, it's a tough call. But either way, what I would say is, if you're going to pay full price at the bike store, you certainly should consider one of these. If you're going to go at the end of the year, maybe August or September, watch the sales at the bike store. And that way, if you buy it, you can look it over, make sure there's no big scratches or gouges. You can make sure the wheels are true. You can make sure that it shifts good. And a lot of times, if you buy it from the bike store, those guys will they'll adjust it again for you within the year. So that's one of the reasons to go to the bike store. Another reason is to make sure you get the proper fit. One other reason I went and bought this bike, even though I was deathly afraid of not getting the proper fit, was the geometry of this bike is very similar to a Giant Defy bike. And I've ridden the Giant Defys and they felt really good to me. It's kind of a I think it's called a semi-compact or a compact frame, but it gives you a more upright riding position. And I'm 6'1". I'm in between sizes actually. It was either this side, which is a smaller side. This is probably, most bikes this is equivalent to like a 58. In this Gravity, it's like a 53.5. Don't ask me why I don't get that sizing. Now, on the next size up, a 60, which I've tried on other bikes, they were a little too long for me. The the handlebar would be closer to the level of the seat, which is nice, be a little higher, but they were more stretched out and my arms were fully extended. And I've got a 36-inch seam on my pants and my arms are 34, 35-inch reach. So I've got pretty long arms and a pretty tall inseam. But that 60 cm bike, or the next size bigger than this one, was too much of a stretch. And in the Defy Series 2, I forgot which, I think that's called a large. This is equivalent to the medium large. And this one feels comfortable to me. It feels nice and relaxed, even though there's a drop there. And I've ridden it a few trips, 30 miles long, and it was great. So anyway, that's all I have. I just wanted to let you guys know what my experience was, and hope it helps somebody make a decision. Take care.